Raiders discard the first-round choice. Pierce will have to decide soon if he will be with Malcolm Koson. Meanwhile, the first round of the Raiders is disappointed, and the opportunity of the opportunities given, he does not get a vacancy and does not pass confidence. Kuntz is attracting the interest of other teams, and letting it out may be a problem for us. Subscribe on the channel and leave your like to receive important updates from Raiders. Tyree Wilson's dull season appearance with Las Vegas Raiders was attributed to his lesion in last year's training field and the fact that he was placed on a larger role than expected after Chandler Jones was cut. However, he's been completely healthy in this offseason and is not showing many signs of improvement. Raiders already have a defensive end All-Pro in Max Crosby, and Malcolm Kuntz is emerging as a very good player. If Las Vegas does not come Wilson becoming an impact player for the defense, ESPN Billwell believes they should consider exchanging him before the deadline. Wilson was a prospect who quickly climbed into the draft boards last April, but he showed little of what he seemed to cheer up when he was on the pitch as a novice, Barnwell wrote in an August 26 column. He had 3.5 sacks and 8 knockdowns in a rotational function, but the Raiders were a much better defense with Malcolm Kuntz in the field. Kuntz's rate of victory in pass rush of 17.4% tripled Wilson's, 5.8%. Kuntz ranked 34th among the latest defenders for this metric, while Wilson was in 112 ND place among 119 qualified. Like Johnston, Wilson has just finished a terrible novice season for a team that fired the main coach and the general manager who recruited him. And just like Johnston, Wilson has significant guarantees remaining in his agreement, with more than $8 million to win in the next 3 seasons. This is nothing if Raiders still believe Wilson will emerge as a useful edge rusher, but if the new general manager Tom Telesco and coach Antonio Pierce thinks Wilson is strictly reserve material, they may want to try to talk to some of these teams who are interested in pushing Wilson to the top 10 a year ago. It's hard to know what kind of value Raiders could still get by Wilson. It is hard to imagine a team by giving up much more than a third-round choice, considering how below expected was its performance in 2023. Giving up a player who is a year of being the 7th choice in the draft just for a third-round choice would not make much sense. It would make you more sense to keep it and see if it can develop. The aforementioned Kuhn had 2.0 sacks combined in his first 2 seasons before scoring 8.0 sacks in his 3rd year. Now, if a team is willing to negotiate more than a third-round choice, it may be something for Raiders to consider. With the team probably trying to recruit a quarterback next year, carrying draft capital to potential exchange can be a wise play. Koson and Crosby are entrenched as defensive ends holders of the Raiders, so there is not much pressure for Wilson to act at the beginning. In fact, he will probably move a lot in this season and play as a defensive tackle. All Raiders need Wilson is that he is a solid rusher, rotational rusher. It will not have many snaps unless there are injuries. Crosby will almost always be on the field absorbing a lot of attention, as is the defensive tackle Christian Wilkins. There will be many opportunities for Wilson to see 1-against-1, and he needs to take advantage of it. If he doesn't get at least 5.0 sacks this season, Raiders can give up it completely.